Hello and welcome to another Skaredcast tournament and review. Today we go to the Mike Mudd Memorial Tournament, a charity event that is 15 years old.
The Dark Kid.
Hello and welcome to another tournament and review. This one is a little different. I'm going to the Mike Mudd Memorial Tournament. It's a yearly charitable event that we do to honor and remember our good friend Mike Mudd. 15 years ago, he passed away in a car accident on his way to game night. And since then, every year, we've run a fun, hobby-centric, sportsmanship 40K Warhammer tournament that celebrates the hobby and the community. All the proceeds raised go to support the local animal shelter as he loved animals. And his parents even come down every year to hand out the awards. Now, the tournament review will be basically the same. I'll go through my list. We're going to see what I put in and why. Then we're going to go to the event and show the 3 different rounds that I played. We're going to come back and tell you a little bit about how I would say shift the list around after the things I learned. One of the cool things about the Mike Mudd is that it's Highlander style list, which is one of everything. And you were allowed to bring Legends units because it's just for fun. It's a community-driven event. So let's dive into the army and what I brought, and then we'll get started. And here we have 2,000 points of drukhari, Highlander style. Now, the theme of this list was one of every drukhari character. So Lilith, a succubus, a beast packmaster, Archon Skari himself, a homunculus, Urian Rakarth, and yes, Drazar, the Master of Blades. The other theme was 0 transports. And because it's Highlander, I can only take 1 of each type of unit, which means I have 1 unit of witches, 1 unit of Cabalite warriors, 1 court, 1 unit of reinforced racks, 1 unit of incubi, a unit of grotesque that's doubled up, 1 unit of mandrakes, a big unit of scourge, that's 10 scourge, 1 ravager, 1 unit of Reaver jet bikes with double heat lance, a unit of 2 Chronos, and a unit of 2 Talos. 2,000 points. So I really don't know how the list is going to work. It is a real space raid, but because I don't have transports, I have to rely on positioning in the games way more than I'm usually having to, just because I have to be able to get to places. Even Drazar's on foot. Like Drazar, Lilith's on foot, the homunculus are on foot, the court's on foot. I might deep strike the Scourge. Who knows? I'm just really excited to see how it works. And there you have it, 2,000 points. Let's go to the event. Let's take a look at how it does. Let's raise some money for charity, and then we'll come back to the studio and I'll basically let you know what I might switch to make this list concept work a little better in normal Warhammer. So this year, there were 56 players that showed up to the Mike Mudd Memorial Tournament. It's 3 rounds. We play wacky missions like White Dwarf bunker missions and old missions that have nothing to do with match play, some match play missions, and the terrain is a hodgepodge of unorthodox hobby-style terrain where it's like this traditional, you might play on a board with only craters and hills, or you might play on a board that is very dense with the city terrain. You never know. And that's the beauty. It's like playing classic Warhammer where you just go to the RTT and it was like luck of the draw. So let's go to the event, play 3 games, and then come back to the studio. Welcome to the Mike Mudd Memorial Tournament. Right here. That's right, playing. Playing against demons on Awesome Tables Highlander event. Really excited. Round 1 against demons. I'm playing my no transport drukhari real space raid for funsies against all of the monsters. It's Scorched Earth. We're playing on a 6x4 table. The terrain is very classic-y terrain with like, you never know what you're gonna get. Could be a really like dense table. Could be a table that has craters on it. This is old school Warhammer. Folks, this is what it used to be like, and it's just a throwback every year, and I love it. Well, Cam, that was a great game. I did end up winning this match, but it was an absolute slobber knocker. Right at the end, we had the Great Unclean One with the gift fail a battle shock test, which lowered some of the points and allowed me to defend my stronghold, which was pretty big. Great game. I killed a Bloodthirster, Scarbrand, and Bellicor, and everything else is fine. I didn't kill anybody else. I almost killed him because he did not make like a single 4-up heal no pain all game, and I was wounding on 6s with just like my little Archon and unit. So funny.
But with that, I did get a bounty though for killing Bellicor. So there's this cool bounty board all the way over there that has bounties with raffle tickets. And if you get it done, you can go claim a bounty and then you get extra raffle tickets. So I got a bunch of raffle tickets for killing the first warlord of the day. Bellicor went down. So with that, let's go to round number 2. And here's the bounty board. Yeah, that's right. Bounties with little Polaroids and everything. It's fantastic. Round number 2 of the Mike Mudd. I got another like normal, just run-of-the-mill mission. Some of them are like White Dwarf missions, which I think is really cool. Like, for example, Pete here is playing a White Dwarf bunker mission, and I'm playing a regular mission against Chaos. So it's super fun. We're playing on big 6x4 tables, and everybody's having a blast. And we've already had 2 armies full on the ground, which, if you know anything about the Mike Mudd, is a tradition. We even have an award that some assembly required that goes all the way back to the first Mike Mudd 15 years ago. Yeah. Where Bob dropped his super converted Space Marine army all over the floor, and we helped him glue it back together during the event. And so now, you usually give glue to someone who drops their army. So far there was a Stomper that was dropped and an army of demons that was dropped. It's competition this year for the award. Who knew? Okay, so I did end up winning my round number 2, and I got to play Zach from Bloodbath and Beyond, and we're playing a funky White Dwarf mission, Shield and Blade. We each get to pick one objective that happens to be our shield generator, and anything in range of it has a 5-up impulse save. And then we end up scoring points for holding our shield generator, having our warlord hold our shield generator, holding more objectives than the opponent, and trying to steal the generator from our opponent. And he's playing a Wraith Knight, he's playing, oh, look how gorgeous this army looks. Anyway, I'm playing this, and of course, you know, there's a big ruin in the middle and a bunch of little ruins where the footprints that we're doing is corner to corner. But all in all, we're gonna have a good time. Okay, end of the game. There was a Wraith Knight, Battle Shocked, a Farseer on that objective, and a Falcon half. And I had Archon Skari that passed like 7 invulnerable saves against the Wraith Cannons. Man, it was crazy. Crazy game. I did end up winning the game because I went second, and it was end of battle round scoring. So when you go second on that, you can kind of hide and then hop onto the objectives. But it was a bloodbath, really fun time. So that's it. The Mike Mudd, we're just packing up, and then we will come back, go to the studio, we'll talk about it. You'll see us at dinner. This event just means so much to me. So thanks for hanging out. It was really nice to play with a list that was all wacky. Let's go back, talk about it. We'll have a discussion on, you know, playing, like, what does it really mean to play Warhammer 40K?
And we're back at the studio. That was such a fun time. First of all, we raised over $4,000 for the local animal shelter. So thank you everybody who showed up. Second, next year, the Mike Mudd Memorial Tournament is going to be a doubles event. So we're gonna double the amount of people there. It's gonna be 100 people. Third, the bounty thing was hilarious. I was one of the first people to claim a bounty by killing my enemy's warlord, Bellicor, which gave me a bounty of a bunch of raffle tickets. And then I got another bounty later on where I got to kill my opponent's obliterators. I even kept the little bounty card. See? Obliterators. There you go. I got them dead. There was this big wall that had them all set up with little Polaroids or pictures of, like, you had to kill this model. I placed a bounty on Bill's gargantuan Squiggoth, which was super fun. And shout out to Donnie, who was able to cash in on those 30 tickets or whatever that I put on that Squiggoth's head. Super fun time, but let's go to the army and let's kind of tell you what I learned. So the army itself was really, really fun. Now, if I wanted to make this army work as a collector's army, right, with a little bit of everything in order to kind of like play it at a local RTT or not really try too hard, there's a couple of things I would change just to make it a little bit more viable. The first thing I would do is I would just drop the the Scourge that had carbines. As much as I enjoyed having a 10-man Scourge squad, you don't really need 10 Scourge. 5 Scourge is fine with all the guns. Now, you only save 60 points when doing that, but that's 60 points. Another thing I would do, sadly, is if I'm taking Lilith, sadly, the Succubus gets put to the wayside, so she's on the chopping block as well, because Lilith is just way better. Now, surprisingly enough, in Real Space Raid, even on foot, Drazar and his Incubi surprised me. That +1 to wound came in handy. Even though they didn't have rerolls, they were actually able to kill stuff in real space raid. So the lack of lance made Drazar quite useful. The last thing I would drop is one of these 2 Chronos. So I'd only have one. I only think you need one. They didn't really do much else. So still keeping to the Highlander theme, if I wanted to make this a better list, I'd drop 60, 45, and 50 points. That's 155 points. But what do I put in instead? Super simple. I add 1 Raider and 1 Venom. And there you go. That is a hobby list that's Highlander that actually works with real space raid. I guess you could use it with Sky if you wanted to, but Court, Archon, and Cablites go together. Rax and Homunculus go together. Urien stays by himself. Grotesque stay by themselves. Drazar and his Incubi can go in a Venom. Lilith and her Witches can go in a Raider. And that's it. There you have it. That is a really fun, collectible army with a little bit of everything. And let me know what you think in the comments down below. A huge shout out to everybody who went to the Mike Mudd Memorial Tournament. We'll see you next year. It's going to be doubles, October 25th. So stay tuned for that. If you want to drive or travel all the way to Canada to come to that event, I highly recommend it. It is an absolute blast. I had a ton of fun. Congratulations to the folks that won awards, to Cody who got his name on the coveted Mike Mudd Memorial Tournament shield, where we have all of the different names of everybody who's won the event emblazoned on there, which is awesome. And yeah, that's that. A huge shout out to all of you, the channel Patreons. Anybody who's watching, liking, sharing, subscribing to the content means a lot to me. Thank you so much. And I'll catch you on the next video. For all the cool other stuff, links are in the description below. I've been Skary, your grateful host, signing off until next time. The Dark Kin. Skary out. Bye, everyone.